maging medtech tayo, ma-encounter natin yung test na 'to. And also the other tests that we are going to discuss along our lessons sa SPDX. Okay, so pay attention. I want you to finish this course. I mean this subject ng matiwasay para after this diretso internship na. Para matapos na yung mga academic subjects ninyo. Okay? So this will be very chill lang. I just need you to pay attention. Take quizzes on time. Walang hindi magte-take ng quizzes kasi doon yung karamihan na tinitake for granted ng students. Okay, so take your quizzes on time, submit all of your requirements on time, wala tayong magiging problema. Okay, also do well in your exams and your quizzes para maayos yung grades ninyo. Okay, so for this lesson, our second lesson pala, kasi last week yung lab safety natin, nag-asynchronous ako doon because I had some matters to attend to. But for this time, kailangan nating mag-asynchronous. Kailangan ko kayong ma-meet virtually at least. Okay, so for this lesson, we are going to talk about your electrocardiography or your ECG. Okay, this lesson focuses on how the heart's electrical activity is recorded. Okay, this is very important in clinical diagnosis when it comes to your cardiac activity. Okay, when we end this lesson, you will be able to discuss briefly, okay, pahapyaw yung importance ng ECG. Okay, you're going to be able to explain why ECG is important. You're also going to be able to describe the cardiac conduction system. I have specific slides for these. Okay, and you will also identify the components and set up procedures of your ECG. Okay, so let's start. Your ECG or your electrocardiogram, pwede siyang EKG ha. Okay, interchangeable yung ECG or EKG. Okay lang yan. Okay, this records the electrical signals of your heart. It is a common and painless test that is used to quickly detect heart problems or monitor heart health. This is commonly done in clinics, okay, in the doctor's office or even in the hospital. So this was the primitive setup of your ECG way back. Okay, so it's an old string galvanometer electrocardiograph that shows the big machine, okay, with the patient, okay, na naka-attach sa kanyang mga limbs, yung mga electrodes natin tinatawag. Okay, so ito yung common setup natin way back. Okay, in ECG meron tayong history, syempre. It started in 1842 wherein Matteucci, okay, he recorded the electrical activity from the heart of a frog. Okay, so this is in 1842, si Matteucci or si Carlo Matteucci. Okay, wag niyo nang pansinin yung first name, at least yung apelyido, kilala niyo siya. Okay, una daw siyang nag-record ng electrical activity from the heart of a frog. Si Augustus Waller, okay, si Waller noong 1887, he recorded naman the first electrical activity from a human heart. Okay, so from frog, gumamit na sila dito ng human heart for the first electrical activity na na-record. And then in 1893, si Einthoven, okay, first niyang ginamit yung term na EKG. Electrocardiogram, EKG yung una niyang tinawag doon. Tapos gumawa siya ng string galvanometer-based na 3-lead EKG machine noong 1901. Okay, and then na-introduce siya sa US 7 years later in 1908. And then in 1924, nanalo siya ng Nobel Peace Prize in the Physiology of Medicine. And these years, tong 1934 to 1938, gumawa siya ng central terminal. Hindi yung train station ha, yung precordial leads na tinatawag natin. Yun yung tawag na central terminal for your EKG or your ECG. Okay? And then in 1942, okay, parang binabasa ko lang siya guys. Okay, so nothing too To explain naman here. Okay, Goldberg used the central terminal with augmentation. Okay, so dito in-upgrade na nila yung previously na ginawa ni Wilson. Okay, in-upgrade ni Goldberg yung ating central terminal. Gumamit tayo dito ng unipolar LEDs na tinatawag natin. And then from 1954 hanggang ngayon, na standardize na ni AHA or ni American Heart Association yung 12 lead ECG as we know now. Okay, ito na yung ginagamit natin at present. Okay, so this is the timeline of your clinically pertinent landmarks in the development of your ECG, which acknowledges the important efforts of other scientists in this process. So we came a long way from 1842 hanggang 1954 siya na standardized, and that is what we use today. Okay, so that is the brief history of your ECG or your electrocardiogram. For the three types of ECG, okay, the first one is your resting ECG training. Ito yung typical nating ginagawa. 'Pag tayo ay nagpapa-check up, 'di ba kinakabitan tayo ng mga electrodes sa katawan ta's tayo ay nakahiga. Okay, so this is the most commonly done. So your resting ECG training evaluates the heart at baseline. So from normal activity, okay, dun siya chine-check. Baseline yung chine-check natin dito sa resting ECG. For your exercise or stress ECG training, here we are checking the heart during exertion. Pinapagod natin yung heart natin, chine-check natin kung anong hangganan yung kaya nating i-tolerate. Okay, so isa-stress natin yung heart natin through a treadmill or a bicycle. Okay, tapos i-check doon kung ano yung capacity ni heart for tolerance of stress. Okay, stress ECG checks the heart during exertion or stress from the name itself. And then the third one is your Holter monitoring. So Holter monitoring is where we are capturing the long-term activity of the heart. So monitoring siya. Kaya nga siya tinawag na Holter monitoring. So those are your three types of your ECG. For your resting ECG training, okay, the first one, first one out of three, this is the standard test for measuring the heart's electrical function. Okay, so this records the heart electrical activity from 12 electrodes. These 12 electrodes are sticky patches that are placed on different parts of your chest, arms, and legs simultaneously. Okay, so this is used for routine screening. Pwede na siyang gamitin for diagnosis. Okay, so it records the heart electrical activity while the patient is at rest. So ganito yung typical setup. Nakahiga si patient, may mga nakakabit sa kanyang sticky patches. Okay? And then minomonitor doon yung ating electrical activity ng ating mga heart. Okay, for your exercise or stress ECG training, so ito yung typical setup niya. Like as I have said, from the previous slide, na isa-stress natin si heart, gagawa tayo ng ng activities to stress them out, to exert effort from the heart kung ano yung kaya nating i-tolerate. So we will be having a different lesson for this whole stress ECG training. Tawag natin doon ay stress testing. I think that will be for next meeting. Okay? Stress testing or treadmill test or exercise EKG. Pwedeng si patient naka-treadmill or nagpe-pedal siya ng stationary bicycle. Okay? And while that is happening, may mga nakakabit sa kanya to determine their breathing, their blood pressure, minomonitor yon habang sila ay nag-undergo ng test na to. So this is used to detect coronary artery disease and to determine safe levels of exercise following a heart attack or heart surgery. So for example, wag naman sana, no? Okay, for example, may inatake sa puso and then or nagkaroon ng heart problems, nagkaroon ng heart surgery. So ite-test ninyo kung ano yung safe levels of exercise ninyo na hanggang kaya lang i-tolerate ng puso ninyo. Okay? So this is commonly used to detect coronary artery disease post-cardiac recovery. So kung nagkaroon kayo ng cardiac problems, okay, after nyo mag-recover, typical ginagawa yung stress testing na to. But then again, we have a separate discussion for stress testing. Okay, and the last part is your Holter monitoring, aka your continuous ECG. So this is a type of ECG that is used to monitor the ECG tracing continuously for a period of 24 hours or longer. Okay, so this usually lasts for long periods of time. Normally nga 24 hours or longer. It's useful in detecting intermittent arrhythmias. Intermittent arrhythmias are wherein yung heart ninyo normal nagfa-function ta's after a while may mga abnormal activities siya. So para ma-catch or ma-capture niyo yung abnormal activity na yun, kailangan niyong mag-undergo ng monitoring. Kasi po, bakit po kailangan gawin yun? Kasi halimbawa nagpa-ECG kayo ng normal lang. Puwedeng timing na habang ini-ECG kayo is normal yung electrical activity ninyo. So kung meron kayong intermittent arrhythmia, puwede siyang hindi ma-detect. For, for as much as possible, we keep this monitoring for longer periods of time para yung mga activities or yung mga instances na puwedeng hindi ma-detect ni normal ECG ay maano niya, ma-detect niya. Okay? So this captures abnormalities that are not seen in short ECG. For example, yung normal activity ninyo 5 minutes lang. Tapos after nun, abnormal na naman. And then after nun, normal ulit. And then the cycle goes. So for you to be able to check whether meron kayong intermittent arrhythmia, ginagawa si Holter monitoring para ma-capture lahat ng activities ng heart ninyo, whether that be normal or pathologic. Okay, kaya ginagawa siya for 24 hours or longer. Okay, so those are the 3 types of our ECG. So for the examination protocol, this applies for all, okay, or except for stress testing. Okay, anyway, so pre-examination, syempre kailangan tanggalin lahat ng jewelries, okay, other objects that may interfere with the test. Okay, depending on the reason of your ECG, pwede kang sabihan to stop taking some of your medications para hindi siya makapag-cause ng interference habang ginagawa yung testing. And during examination, remove clothing from the waist up kasi dyan kinakabit yung electrodes natin. Okay, you lie flat on a table or bed for the test. Okay, and there are some instances na yung patients natin balbon, okay, mabuhok. So may mga times doon na tinatanggal or sinishave yung different patches ng hair na paglalagyan ng ating electrodes para dumikit sila ng maayos. Okay, and then kapag okay na, your electrodes will be attached on your chest, arms, and legs. And then yung LED wires na naka-attach sa electrodes na 'to will be attached to the machine. Okay, so normally ganito nga yung setup natin. Okay, once the LEDs are attached, your technician may enter your identifying information about you, like your name, your age, your gender, or your demographics in general. Your ECG will be started, maiksi lang siya for a tracing to be completed. Okay, and once your tracing has been completed, your technician will disconnect your LEDs and remove your skin electrodes. Okay, so ganun siya mangyayari. Okay, so process takes only a few minutes. After nun, tanggalin na yung electrodes and then you can just resume to your normal day-to-day activities. Okay, walang special care na kailangan after a routine ECG. So let's talk about the basic landmarks kung saan nilalagay yung sticky patches natin. So here are some of the anatomical landmarks that we are using to accurately place our electrodes. So ito yung sternum natin, your ribs, okay, your clavicular lines, okay. Dapat na correct yung landmark identification natin para maayos yung placement ng ating sticky patches or our electrodes. Kapag maayos yung electrodes natin, yung placement ng electrodes natin, syempre, accurate yung magiging result. Okay? Incorrect placement can alter waveforms and pwede siyang mag-lead to misinterpretation. Okay? So this is your second intercostal space, your third, your fourth, your fifth. Okay? Dito nilalagay sa mga intercostal spaces yung electrodes natin. Okay? Meron din tayong mga ibang electrodes from different LED systems. Okay? Nilalagay siya sa mga areas na to. So these are some of our basic anatomical landmarks that we have to familiarize ourselves with kapag tayo ay gagawa ng ECG or magpo-perform ng ECG. So we have one, two, three. Three electrode systems na ginagamit natin commonly pag tayo ay naggagawa ng ECG. For your 3 lead electrode system, here we are using 3 electrodes, your RA, your LA, and your LL. RA refers to your right arm, LA refers to your left arm, and then LL refers to your left leg. Okay, so this displays bipolar LEDs, LEDs 1, 2, and 3. Okay, this is commonly used for basic monitoring. Okay, basic monitoring. For best results, you place the electrodes on the chest wall that's equidistant from the heart rather than the specific limb. So dapat kung halimbawa, si RA nakalagay siya 5 inches from the heart. Then si left arm nakalagay din siya 5 inches away from the heart. So dapat equidistant sila. Okay? Equal yung distance nila from the heart. Yun yung ibig sabihin ni bullet number 3. Again, it's commonly used for basic monitoring. Okay? So yun, for your 5 electrode system naman, so meron tayong mga nadagdag na electrodes. So from RA, LA, and left leg, nadagdagan tayo ng left arm and your chest electrode. Okay, so 5 na sila. So the monitor displays the bipolar LEDs, again, 1, 2, and 3 lang siya. Okay, it includes a single unipolar LED which varies based on the position of your brown chest LED. Okay, pwede siyang ilagay sa V1 hanggang V6. Okay, so if you remember here, you V6, V5, V4, V3, V2, and V1. Okay, sa other side lang siya. Okay, so ganun. Depende siya kung saan ilalagay dito sa may gitna. Okay, it's commonly used for 2 things. Okay, dalawa yung pinagagamitan niya usually. So it's commonly used for number 1, critical care, and then continuous monitoring. Again, commonly used for critical care and continuous monitoring. Sulat niyo yan. Okay, and then for your 12 lead ECG, okay, so hindi porket 12 lead yung pangalan niya, is 12 electrodes din yung ginagamit natin. Here we are using 10 electrodes. Okay, these 10 electrodes are required to produce a 12 lead ECG. Okay, so meron tayong 4 na limb electrodes. Limb, ibig sabihin mga kamay at mga paa. Your right arm, your left arm, your right leg, and your left leg. And we have your 6 chest electrodes or your 6 precordial electrodes. V1, V2, V3, V4, V5, and V6. Okay, so this monitors all 12 LEDs, okay, yung V1 hanggang V6, yung bipolar LEDs natin, and yung ating augmented LEDs. Okay, so this allows interpretation of specific heart regions. Okay, sa ilalim ng heart, yung LED 2, 3, and your AVF. Your lateral or your gilid na part ng heart, yung LED number 1, your AVL, your V5, and your V6. And your anterior part of the heart, yung harap ng heart mismo, is your V1 hanggang V4. Okay, so eto meron ditong summary. Okay, pwede nyo siyang i-check. And then, yon. So for your ECG setup, meron tayong tinatawag na Einthoven's triangle. You remember the person who was part of the history? Okay, si Einthoven po ang nanalo ng Nobel Prize in Physiology or in Medicine kasi isa siya sa may mga significant contributions for your ECG. Kaya ang tawag dito ay yung Einthoven's triangle. Meron tayong 3 LEDs, LED 1, 2, and 3. LED 1 hanggang LED 3, LED 1 measures electrical activity from the right arm to the left arm. Papunta dito. Okay? Your LED 2, okay, from your right arm going to your left leg, and LED number 3 from your left arm going to the left leg or left foot. Okay, so 3 yung ating landmark sa ating Einthoven's triangle. 3 LEDs, ito yung directions nila. Okay, as you can see, may mga color coordinated arrows tayo. And then For your ECG LEDs, we have your bipolar limb LEDs. Okay, so this registers voltages between two electrodes. So si LED 1, okay, negative yung sa right arm and positive yung sa left arm. So papunta siya dito. Okay, papunta siya to the right. And then LED 2, negative yung kay right arm and then positive electrode going to the left leg. And then for your LED 3, negative yung charge ni left arm and then positive naman going to the right leg. Ito ang ating Einthoven's triangle. Okay? So, ganun. And then, limb LEDs detect electrical activity from different directions. Okay, si LED 1, okay, yung from right arm to left arm, it's most sensitive to your horizontal activity. Your LED number 2, sensitive siya sa vertical activity from the base of the heart to the apex. And LED number 3, also vertical activity pero at a different angle. Okay? So, yun lang. And then your unipolar limb legs naman. So this uses a single positive electrode referenced against a combination of other limb electrodes. So ang tawag doon are your augmented limb legs, your AVR, your AVL, and your AVF. Okay, so this provides additional views of the heart's electrical activity from different angles. So your augmented vector right, okay, nakalagay siya sa right wrist ninyo. Your augmented vector left sa left wrist, and your AVF or your augmented vector foot is placed on your left foot. Okay, so your AVR views the heart from the upper right side, your AVL from the upper left side, and your AVF, this views the heart from the inferior side. Okay, kasi nakalagay siya sa left foot natin. Okay, so kung ano lang laman ng slide, yun lang rin naman yung mga pinagsasabi ko. Here is the summary of our electrode guides. Okay, so pakibasa na lang. May mga different colors yan. Okay, so this helps prevent misplacement during setup. So yung mga gumagawa normally ng ECG, okay, memorize na nila to. So it's very helpful to prevent misplacement kapag tayo ay nagsa-set up for our ECG. Kaya nga meron din tayong different colors for our glass top tubes, 'di ba? Meron tayong purple, meron tayong red para hindi natin sila ma-misidentify. Okay? So these are helpful indicators kung anong klaseng LED sila or kung anong klaseng electrode yung ginagamit dito. Okay? So the purpose of your ECG, okay, so again, this detects the heart's electrical rhythm and it produces a tracing. Ang tracing po ang tawag sa ganito. 'Di ba kung nagpapa-ECG kayo, ito yung mga nakikita ninyo. Ang tawag po doon ay tracing. Okay, so the tracing consists of wave patterns that recur with each heartbeat. Okay, consistent wave shapes indicate a normal function, while irregular or abnormal wave shapes may signal a heart disease. So dapat po evenly spaced out siya. May mga tinitingnan tayo dito to check whether the heart activity is doing good or not. So later medyo i-explain ko sila sa inyo. Ituturo ko sa inyo kung paano mag-check whether an ECG is okay or kung merong heart problems. Pero syempre pahapyaw lang, hindi naman tayo doktor. Okay, para lang may idea tayo paano siya i-interpret. Okay, so key uses in diagnosing CVD, okay, abnormal heart rhythms or mga arrhythmias natin, your myocardial ischemia or infarction, okay, your chamber enlargement, and your electrolyte abnormalities. Okay, and for your heart cycle, it's very important that you understand the cardiac cycle. Okay, para nagagrasp din natin yung concept. Bakit nagmo-move tong lines na to in a specific way, nakadepende yan sa ating cardiac cycle. Okay, so the cardiac cycle is the sequence of electrical and mechanical events that occurs in the heart from one heartbeat to the next. Okay, initiated siya by your SA node. This is your SA node, your sinoatrial node. Ibig sabihin dito nagsisimula yung lahat. Ini-initiate ng ating SA node yung ating heartbeat. Okay? Your electrical events and your mechanical events, please take note. Your electrical events are the depolarization of the atria. When I say depolarization, ito yung pag-squeeze, okay, in vernacular terms, pag-squeeze or pagpiga ng ating atrium. Ito yung atria natin, okay, yung left and right atria natin. Okay? And the depolarization and repolarization of ventricles. When I say depolarization, again, yan yung pagpiga. Okay? If meron kayong fist or meron kayong sponge, okay, pagpigain niyo yung sponge ninyo, di ba, nag-squeeze out siya ng water. Yan yung depolarization. Pero pag bitawan nyo yung sponge ninyo, babalik siya sa normal shape niya. Okay? Nagre-relax ulit si sponge. So, ang tawag doon ay repolarization. Again, contraction is your depolarization and relaxation is your repolarization. So, please wag malilito, wag ipagpapalit. And your mechanical events, okay, contraction, okay, that is your depolarization in the electrical event counterpart. Ang tawag doon ay yung ating systole. And our relaxation, our diastole, is our repolarization. Okay, so that is for your relaxation of the heart. Okay, so wag malilito. Depolarization or contraction, yan yung systole. Repolarization naman is your relaxation or your diastole. Okay? So kung halimbawa nag-start ng signal dito sa sinoatrial node, okay? Kung nasan po yung signal, nandoon yung depolarization. Okay? Kasi kung walang charge yung heart, naka-relax lang yan. Pag yan ay may electrical activity, nandoon siya nagsisqueeze. Kaya from here, okay, from your sinoatrial node, dyan nagsa-start, pag mag-fire yan ng electrical signal, your atrium contracts. As the signal travels along, going down here, dito naman siya mag-contract. Tapos yung mga naiiwan niya, nagre-relax siya. Kaya meron tayong simultaneous exchange. So from depolarization, meron tayong signal, okay? Pag alis ng signal na yan, nagre-relax siya. Yung signal na yan, magta-travel going down here, and kung nasan man yung signal na yun yung nag-cause ng contraction ng heart natin. Okay? So your electrical activity is linked to your actual heart movement. Kung nasan yung signal, specific signal sa heart ninyo, nandoon yung contraction. Okay, so please understand that. Okay, naligaw yung slide na to. Dapat, yeah. Anyway, examination protocol for your post-examination. So after nyong mag-ECG, you just resume the normal diet and activities that you normally do unless syempre may instruction from your doctor. No special care is typically needed after an ECG. And kung meron kayong maramdaman na any chest pain, shortness of breath, dizziness, or fainting, okay, so kailangan nyo siyang i-report sa inyong technician. Okay, so reinforce nyo that ECG is safe and it's also non-invasive. Kung kayo yung technician, may mga patients po na nag-worry dyan lagi. So you have to always reinforce or reassure them that ECG is safe and wala siyang kailangang ipagkabahala. Okay, unless na lang kung may instruction from your doctor. And when reading your ECG, you have to check the following. Always verify the name, the age, the date, and the standardization. Your standardization, meron tayong tinatawag na standard paper speed for ECG tracings. Okay, dapat 25 millimeters siya per second. Okay, yung paper speed ninyo, this represents the rate at which ECG paper moves through the machine during recording. Your voltage calibration standard should be 10 millimeters per millivolt vertically, and this will ensure the accuracy and proper interpretation pag tama yung setting ng ating tama yung standardization ng ating ECG. Also for your horizontal calibration standard, it should be 1 millimeter per second. Okay, so take note of your standardization ng ECG. Okay, so ito na. Okay, so ito naman pinagsasabi ko kanina. Okay, so bawat activity ng heart ninyo, okay, kung nasan yung electrical activity, nandoon yung contraction or yung ating depolarization. Okay, so it starts from your sinoatrial node. Okay, itong purple na to. Dito nagsisimula yung lahat. Okay, so the cardiac cycle begins with your sinoatrial node. When it fires an electrical signal, it spreads throughout the atria. Okay, from your atrium, dito siya nagsa-start, so dito siya magko-contract. Magta-travel siya going to your ventricles. Okay, your ventricles, sorry, from your SA node, pupunta siya sa inyong AV node or your atrioventricular node. Okay? Pag mag-travel siya hanggang atrioventricular node, okay, mag-activate yung cells niya, so magko-contract siya. Okay, so as this signal moves through the heart muscle, it activates the cells, causing them to contract. And this electrical activity creates currents that form ECG wave patterns. So, meron tayong P wave, we have your QRS complex, tong yellow na to, and your T wave. Okay? Ito ang nagme-measure ng inyong atrial depolarization, your P wave. Okay, pag mag-contract yung inyong SA node, nache-check yan sa ating P wave. Itong unang wave before this complex, okay? Lagi siyang 3 parts. Okay, your P wave, okay, atrial depolarization or atrial activation. Okay, pag mag-travel yung signal going to your AV node, andito na siya. Okay, ma-activate na inyong mga ventricles dito sa baba. That is measured by your QRS complex, your ventricular depolarization or your ventricular contraction. So from your atrium, lilipat yung signal to your ventricles, magko-contract siya, and then pag yung signal makarating dito sa baba, okay, magsa-spread yan from the right, from your AV node, mahahati siya to your right ventricle and to your left ventricle. Okay, that is measured through your T wave or your ventricular repolarization or your recovery. Ito naman yung tinitingnan natin dito. Okay, check this one, atrial myocardium and ventricular myocardium. Okay, your P wave, ayan yung mini-measure yung muscles natin from the atrium. Your QRS complex and your T wave, mini-measure niya yung inyong ventricular muscles, yung nandito sa baba. Okay, so cycle lang siya lagi. Pag mag-contract yung taas, dapat naka-relax yung baba. Pag naka-contract yung baba, dapat naka-relax yung sa taas. Okay, and that occurs simultaneously. So one heartbeat, yung ating one tibok ng puso. Okay, yun yung ating vernacular term. Isang tibok ng puso, isang buong ganito. Okay, so yun yung chine-check natin dito sa ECG. So again, quick recap kasi medyo nabubulol na ako kanina. Simula tayo sa AV node, magfa-fire siya ng signal. Yung signal na yan, pupunta sa AV node. Okay? From your AV node, mahahati siya into the right ventricle and to your left ventricle. Okay? So again, SA node, AV node, and then magdi-divide siya into 2. SA node, P wave. Your AV node, your QRS complex, and your T wave, dito na siya kapag nag-spread na yung signals into the left and right side of your ventricles. Okay, so this is a quick summary. Naka-table lang siya. Okay, your SA node, yung primary pacemaker natin. Kasi dito nagsa-start yung heartbeat natin. Your SA node is our primary pacemaker. Okay, it beats up to 60 to 100 beats per minute and it's represented by your P wave. Okay, your AV node is your backup pacemaker. Okay, it fires 40 to 60 beats per minute. Okay, this is your represented by our PR interval. Your bundle of His, your bundle branches, and your Purkinje fibers represented siya by your QRS complex. This one here. Okay, your QRS complex. Your bundle of His, this is the point where the impulses divide. Remember, nahahati tong dalawang to, di ba? Okay, bundle of His, this one, dito nahahati yung impulses. Okay, your bundle branches will send impulses to the left and right sides of your heart. So dito siya maghihiwalay, left and right. And then your Purkinje fibers, these are nerves that branch up to your ventricles. So back up siya ng SA and AV nodes ninyo kung sakali na mag-fail sila. Okay, and it produces 30 to 40 beats per minute. Okay, so from here, going here, maghihiwalay sila dito sa bundle of His, going to your Purkinje fibers, yung mga maliliit ninyong nerves dito sa gilid ng inyong ventricles. Okay, so that is for the conduction system of your heart. Okay, kung kunwari nagme-medicine tayo, mas malalim yung discussion nila here. Okay, syempre ganoon naman talaga. Okay? And then for your segments and intervals, okay, your P wave, okay, ganito lang isipin natin dito. Your PQRST, alphabet. Alam mo no, PQRST. Okay, alphabet. From P wave to your QRS complex and your T wave, in between them, meron tayong tinatawag na interval. Okay, gaano kalayo si P from the R? That is your PR segment. Gaano kalayo si S sa inyong T? That is your ST interval. Tapos may mga PR interval pa tayo, may mga QT interval pa tayo na tinatawag. Okay? So bawat intervals and bawat segment meron siyang nire-represent na heart activity. Okay, so you have to be able to identify the parts of your tracing. Okay? So ganito. Ganito yung mga pinagsasabi ko kanina. Depolarization, electrical activation, nagkakaroon ng muscle contraction, dun siya nagsisqueeze. Yung repolarization naman, electrical recovery, nagre-relax yung muscle, and nagre-release yung inyong heart. Okay? So your P wave represents your atrial depolarization, your ventricular depolarization or pag-contract ng ventricles ninyo, QRS complex naman, and your T wave is represented by your ventricular repolarization. Okay? Si QRS complex, no, never mind. Okay na yan. Okay, so again, your atrial depolarization, your ventricular depolarization, and your ventricular repolarization. Okay, ito yung pinaka nagiging activity nila. If we are gonna look at them, pag sasama-samahin natin sila, ito yung mga napoproduce nating tracing. Mga ganyan. Okay? So yan. Okay, so sa segments and interval that can help us determine the rate of the heartbeat, check natin yung size ng heart, description ng pericardium, and so on. Okay? And for you to be able to identify or interpret your tracing, kailangan alam nyo rin yung part ng ECG strip natin. So meron siyang big box, meron siyang small box. One small box here, okay, tingin kayo sa cursor, this one here. One small box here is equivalent to 0.04 second. Okay, kada isa dyan, 0.04, 0.04, 0.04, 0.04, 0.04. Kapag yung lahat ng yan tinitingnan mo, okay, that constitutes to your one big box. So 0.04 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that is 0.20 second. Okay, so isang big box is equivalent to 0.20 seconds. Okay, so these measurements are used to compute rate and intervals. Okay, very important po yung timing para mag-diagnose tayo ng or mag-base tayo sa ECG for your diagnosis. Okay? And methods of EKG or ECG interpretation, here are the steps. Okay, number 1, you identify the P wave. Kailangan lagi siyang upright. Okay, pataas siya lagi. Okay, measure the PR interval or PR segment. Okay, kung gaano siya kalayo from one another. Measure the QRS complex, kung gaano siya kahaba. Okay, identify nyo yung rhythm, determine nyo yung heart rate, and interpret nyo yung strip. Okay, so hindi nyo naman siya kailangan masyadong problemahin. Okay, I just want you to understand na ganito ang pinaka-basis natin for ECG interpretation. Okay, so yan. And then here, I have some steps here. Okay, so number 1, evaluate the P wave. Okay, dapat present siya lagi and upright. Okay, so there should be one P wave before every QRS complex. Okay, ito yung QRS complex. Before that, lagi dapat may P wave. You identify the PR interval. Meron tayong normal values here. Okay, check ninyo kung ilang small squares yan. Kasi yung normal PR interval should be 0.12 to 0.20 seconds. Okay? Yun. Evaluate your QRS complex. Okay, check whether every P wave is followed by a QRX complex. So after ng P wave, dapat laging may QRS complex. Okay? Dapat hindi siya masyadong mahaba or hindi rin siya masyadong shortened. Kasi pag masyadong mahaba yan, ibig sabihin ang haba ng isang heartbeat. Pag masyado yung shortened, ibig sabihin masyadong mabilis yung heartbeat. So dapat normal lang siya. So yung normal QRS complex natin should not be below 0.06 second or not be beyond 0.12 seconds. So yan yung normal value natin for our QRS complex. Okay, and then lastly, you identify your RR intervals. Okay, so check nyo whether they are consistent, whether they are regular or irregular. So tingnan nyo tong tracing na to, this first one. RR complex, di ba? QRS, okay, tingnan nyo yung RR intervals. Yung isang R, malayo sa second R. Yung second R to your third R, malapit naman siya sa isa't isa. And then third R to fourth R, malayo siya ulit. So this is considered an irregular heartbeat kasi malayo si RR interval from one another. Kumpara dito sa isa, if you can see, evenly spaced out yung mga RR intervals nila. So ibig sabihin, regular yung heartbeat ng pasyenteng to. Okay? Pwede nyo rin gamitin yung RR intervals to check for your heart rate. Okay, applicable lang siya kapag yung ECG strip ninyo is a 6-second strip. Okay, your 6-second method, okay, so you're just going to count the number of R's times 10. Halimbawa, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, 8 R's yung isang ECG strip ninyo. Tapos, 6-second strip yung ginamit. So you just multiply the number of R's by 10. So yung heart rate ninyo, since walo yung R dito. So R times 10 equals 80 beats per minute. Okay? So yun siya. And then your big box method naman, tinitingnan rin dito yung number of big boxes in between R's. So ilan yung mga big boxes in between your R's here? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so 300 divided by 4, ilan? Oops, calculator na hulog. 300 divided by 1, 2, 3, 4. 75. Okay, so hindi siya accurately the same as your 6-second strip, but you will have an idea kung ano yung range ng ating heartbeat dito. So in this case, pwede nating masabi that 75 to 80 beats per minute si patient, basing lang dito sa ating ECG. Okay, so again, we have your 6-second method and we have your big box method. Okay, and here are some common ECG findings. Okay, meron tayong atrial fibrillation, your atrial flutter. Okay, we have your ventricular tachycardia. Okay, if you can see this tracing, okay, hindi na siya magandang tingnan. Wala siyang QRS complex, mostly P wave lang siya. Okay, ang description niya ay tombstone appearance of waveform. So imagine nyo kung ganito yung activity ng heart ninyo. Ano yung klaseng heartbeat yan? Puro ventricular contraction. Nasaan yung atrial contraction dito? So this can be fatal. Pwedeng ikamatay ito ng patient ninyo. Your ventricular fibrillation naman. So this is a rapid, disorganized pattern of electrical activity in the ventricle. So pwede ito yung ika-cause ng cardiac arrest kung ganito yung maging heart activity ninyo. Okay, dito naman sa iba, you can see meron tayong normal sinus rhythm. So this is good. Your atrial flutter, ang iksi ng QRS complex, mostly P waves and T waves are so short. Kaya mas maraming QRS complex. Kaya so konti lang yung activity ni ano tawag dito, ni atrium, and yung relaxation ni ventricle sobrang bilis lang din. Mostly contraction sila. Okay, so that is atrial flutter. Your atrial fibrillation naman, okay, halos ganun din. Ang description niya ay para siyang may irregular RR intervals. Okay? Yung atria, nag-iipon siya ng blood. hindi pa niya nasa-squeeze out yung blood from the atria going to the ventricles, nag-iipon na naman siya ng blood. Okay, so this can be a little intimidating kung una niyo siyang titingnan. Okay, I agree. Nung unang time na inaral ko din to, parang medyo nakaka-overwhelm. But once you understand the P wave, the QRS complex, and your T wave, kaya niyo na siyang tingnan ng isahan lang. Okay, magigets nyo na ay normal yung sinus rhythm nito. Ay may abnormal heart activity to. Okay, pero I think ang saya niyang aralin itong ECG na to. Yung mga pag-interpret ng tracing. Okay? And malapit na tayong matapos, don't worry. Okay, and meron tayong mga terminologies for our tracing para alam ninyo. Your waveforms is the movement away from the baseline in either a positive or negative direction. Your waveform, okay, yung isang ang tawag dito? Okay, that is the movement away from the baseline. Okay, pwedeng pataas, pwedeng pababa. Your segment is a line between your waveforms. Your interval is a waveform and a segment, and your complex, okay, consists of several waveforms. So yung ating P wave, okay, yung isang ping ganyan, ang tawag doon ay waveform. Yung ating QRST, yung Q isang waveform 'yon. Yung R isang waveform 'yon. Yung S isang waveform din 'yon. Yung segment naman, okay, that's the line in between your waveforms, kung anong nasa gitna ng bawat letter na 'yon. Your interval, okay, ano ang in between isang waveform and a segment, and their complex consists of several waveforms. So for example, this is a QRS complex. May tatlo siyang waveforms. Your QRS, kaya ang tawag sa kanya ay QRS complex because it consists of several waveforms. Okay? So yun po. And then this slide naman, this explains what abnormalities an ECG can and cannot detect. Okay, so hindi lahat na detect ni ECG. The only abnormalities that can be detected are the following. Okay, arrhythmia, bradycardia, tachycardia, okay, yung mga ganyan. Okay, ito lang yung mga kaya niyang i-detect. Even your hormonal imbalance, kayang i-detect ni ating ECG. So may mga anong tawag dito? May mga tracing tayo that can signify whether a person is having electrolyte imbalance. Okay? So very helpful si ECG in detecting electrical and functional abnormalities. Okay? However, hindi niya nakikita lahat ng heart diseases. Kaya kailangan talaga laging ini-interpret yung ating clinical findings and kino-correlate siya sa other tests na ginagawa. Okay? So this is another quick explanation for your different waveforms, your P waveform, your Q, R, and your S, and your T waveform. Okay? Kung anong nire-represent niya, okay, yun yung movement na nangyayari. So sa P wave, atrial contraction yung nire-represent. Yung QRS is the activation of your ventricles, and your recovery is your T wave. Okay? And then 'yan, 'wag na natin 'yan masyadong isipin. Ito pala yung ito yung mga tracing ng ating mga electrolyte imbalances. Okay. Kung sanay kayo mag-check ng ECG, isang kita niyo lang nitong mataas na wave na 'to sa T wave, alam niyo nang may problema siya sa potassium niya, okay. 'Pag meron naman siyang parang U after the T wave, okay, that is your hypokalemia. Okay, your hypocalcemia naman 'pag masyadong mahaba yung S and yung T waveforms, 'pag mahaba yung gaps nila and their Q and T intervals, okay, masyado ring mahaba, that can be indicative of your hypocalcemia. But then again, hindi naman tayo i-interpret nito. We are just doing this for the sake of discussion and para alam natin yung mga ma-e-encounter natin kapag tayo na ay magtrabaho. Okay, so that is the last slide for our ECG. I believe this is the longest topic for SPDX, your ECG here. Okay. before, mas complicated yung discussion namin dito. But we agreed sa program natin na hindi naman natin masyadong kailangang i-complicate yung ECG. Anyway, more on principles lang naman tayo and basic knowledges. Okay, so that is it. Thank you for listening. Do you have questions regarding our lesson? Okay, so this is the longest